What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. And with the fallout from TLC last night, which saw some incredible championship matches, including new Raw Tag Team Champions in the Her Business, Charlotte Flair returning after a 6-month hiatus, coming back as Asuka's tag team partner, and also as a babyface, mind you, which is awesome, by the way. Coming back to win the women's tag team titles, and seeing a man set on fire. There's a lot to talk about for this video, including the latest on a brand new member of Retribution, and also Bray Wyatt being repackaged once again. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. WWE announcing a championship rematch for this Friday on SmackDown. And this first thing that I'm going to be talking about is the latest on what's been going on with Lars Sullivan. We haven't seen him in weeks, and this is actually the first thing that I'm going to be talking about for today's video. So shout out to Andrew Pollard for this article from What Culture. There is something. Okay, for a second I thought I had some con on my forehead. With Lars Sullivan have been absent from WWE TV since early November, there is now an update on why the Freak has had yet another leave of absence from WWE. Courtesy of the Wrestling Observer, the main reason for Sullivan's latest disappearing act is down to a certain Roman Reigns, with Roman now dominating SmackDown with his bullying, merciless high chief persona. WWE simply does not need another monster heel on the blue brand. As such, the company has no idea what to do with Sullivan right now. Having signed with WWE back in 2013, the Freak's career so far has been a stop-start, one that's been dogged by controversy. It was over 2 years ago that both Raw and SmackDown began airing vignettes advertising Lars Sullivan's imminent arrival, yet here in 2020 we've barely seen anything from the hulking behemoth. That planned main roster bow was delayed after Sullivan took time off due to anxiety issues, and his eventual debut in April 2019 was shortly followed up by a major knee injury, in addition to his previous racist, sexist, and homophobic forum posts of the real life. I'm not gonna mention the name just for obviously for YouTube purposes. I'm not gonna mention it. Surfaced last year, and it also came to light that his younger days saw the person appear in movies. I'm gonna leave that up to the imagination. What's next for Lars Sullivan remains to be seen, but it doesn't appear that he'll be returning to SmackDown anytime soon. Yeah, so honestly, so I talked about the fact that Lars had posted a bunch of, comments and whatnot, of the person. I'm not gonna mention the name for obviously for good reasons, so you guys can understand. But this really doesn't surprise me. Again, as the article mentioned, with Roman Reigns back in WWE, having been back since SummerSlam, so August, September, October, November, December. So having been back for 4 months and holding on to the Universal title for that long, it pretty much doesn't surprise me that they're not doing anything with Lars Sullivan. But my guess is that they may end up putting Lars Sullivan back to NXT, which is a possibility given the fact that there isn't any like monster bullies, so to speak, on NXT. I think the only one I think would probably have to be Killian Dane, but I think but he's been teaming up with Drake Maverick, chasing after the NXT tag titles being held by Birch and Lorcan. So honestly, this is kind of a hard one, but honestly, this doesn't surprise me. I mean, who knows if they were to repackage Lars Sullivan, it may be a babyface, which I really don't see happening anytime soon. I do not see that happening anytime soon. But it remains to be seen as to what they will do with him. My guess, again, they could send him back to NXT. They could repackage him as a babyface, and have Lars target Roman Reigns and take the Universal title, off of Roman, or have him be on Raw. Have him target Drew McIntyre, take the WWE title. Who knows? But apparently, last night's TLC was actually a bit of a reset. Truth be told, there's been rumors going around that for tonight's Raw, there's going to be a bit of a reset button, which will set the stage for the Royal Rumble. Which, honestly, I love the idea. Honestly, I love the idea. I think it's a great idea. But as to what they're gonna do, that remains to be seen. But again, Lars Sullivan, it's hard. It's kind of hard to say. He was so unstoppable in NXT. I remember, what was it? Takeover. What was it? Takeover Phoenix? It was one of the NXT takeovers a couple of years ago when Aleister Black was the NXT champion. Lars Sullivan had targeted Aleister Black and the NXT title, and it took like what, 5 Black Mask kicks for Lars Sullivan to lose to Aleister Black. So, and then of course too, some of his like major matches on SmackDown. One of them was actually against Jeff Hardy. So again, it remains to be seen as to what they'll do with Lars in the future, but we shall see. But we will find out in the foreseeable future. Anyway, guys, a 6th member of Retribution. Could it happen? So shout outs to Benjamin Richardson for this article. And let's see. Just when you thought Ricochet's status on WWE's main roster couldn't get any more dismal, I think. There are now suggestions he could become the 6th member of the company's most execrable faction, Retribution. The group's T-Bar, once known as Dominik Dijakovic, posted a sneaky picture on Twitter yesterday with the former Prince Puma photoshopped alongside leader He prefers to be called Mustafa Ali, so I'll say I guess I'll say that. Alongside leader Mustafa Ali and the current masked members. There was no caption with the tweet, but simply the hashtag Retribution. The one and only has been embroiled in a feud with Raw's Renegade group over the past month, racking up embarrassing losses to Mace and Slapjack, either side of besting the aforementioned, which was obviously T-Bar, and reckoning with the help of Dana Brooke. Ali, who beat Ricochet back in November on November 9th on Raw, has made numerous overtures to the 2014 Best of the Super J winner to inexplicably join his terrible stable. He has thus far rejected such offers. T-Bar's tweet further tests Ricochet's resolve. However, will he continue to turn down Retribution, or will he eventually be worn down to the point where he voluntarily sacrifices his credibility for good. And furthermore, what ridiculous name will he adopt? What? Truncheon? Billy Club? Watch this space. So Ricochet as a member of Retribution, that's an interesting one, because when you think about Ricochet, you know, obviously you have to think about the fact that Ricochet dominated NXT for literally most of 2018, and I remember TakeOver Brooklyn 3? Was it 3 or 4? I think it was TakeOver Brooklyn 4. It was TakeOver Brooklyn 4. Ricochet beat Adam Cole to become the NXT North American Champion, the second ever champion, and he held on to the title until TakeOver Phoenix, where he lost the title to Johnny Gargano, which essentially, you know, which essentially gave, you know, which essentially put Ricochet into the main roster, and ever since he got into the main roster, he's been a part of WrestleMania alongside Aleister Black, challenging for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, which obviously I did talk about, in which I did do the prediction video and the result video for that show, which you guys can definitely check out if you have not already. He's challenged for the WWE Championship. He's been United States Champion. You know, he's even challenged as well at one time in his career for the Raw Tag titles, and he also competed alongside Aleister Black, competed in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, winning the tournament, which gave both Black and Ricochet the chance to face off against the Viking Raiders at the time for the NXT Tag Team titles, which was an incredible match, mind you. And I think, honestly, Ricochet joining Mustafa Ali and Retribution, would it be wise for him? Honestly, it could be. It could be wise for him, but at the same time, I think, I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of that's an interesting one, because obviously you have Mace, who was once known as Dio Madden. You have Slapjack, who was known as Shane Thorne. You have Reckoning, who was once known as Mia Yim. T-Bar again Dijak, and then Mustafa Ali. And then originally you had Mercedes Martinez, but she left the faction on, you know, she bailed. She left the faction, and there are rumors that she'll be going back to NXT. I think I mentioned that before. But Ricochet is a member of Retribution. That remains to be seen. We may end up seeing something, you know, starting tonight on Raw and in the upcoming weeks. 2021 could look very different for Retribution, but that remains to be seen. Honestly, I don't know. I honestly don't see it. Yeah, I honestly don't. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion anyway. But with that being said, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, being repackaged once again. If I can find that article. Here we are. Shoutouts to Michael Sidgwick for this article. Yeah, is he being repackaged again? They always say never in professional wrestling. In WWE in 2020, that extends to death. Reviving dead bodies on the regular. AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, and Braun Strowman were all ostensibly murdered on TV this year before being brought back with comedic or simply zero explanation. Last night's immolation angle at TLC felt different, more definitive. Perhaps it's because the cinematic quasi-canon has faded into view since the debut of the Thunderdome. Perhaps it's because WWE rested on the image for long enough that it registered as a write-off and not some zany bullshit to hook you on the next episode of TV. Furthering this idea, Bray Wyatt himself has hinted in his merely enigmatic way that a repackage is imminent by using the rather on-the-nose visual of a cocoon on Twitter, tweeting "thank you" and a circle emoji. Wyatt has alluded to the second complete gimmick overhaul in 7 years, or third in 9. With the circle perhaps suggesting that he is doomed to portray doomed supernatural monsters forevermore. Maybe this is the big test, the big reset WWE has in mind to arrest the slide of woeful ratings. Wyatt is a committed and innovative mind, but working hokey, invisible horror gimmicks in a 21st century in the 21st century in which WWE won't itself commit is a death spiral in waiting. So honestly, this is kind of an interesting development because if you guys don't know, so obviously Bray Wyatt, he's had 3 different gimmicks, or I guess rather 4, so to speak. His first was when he was a part of the New Nexus as under the character name Husky Harris. I think he called himself an army tank with a Ferrari engine. Which that was what he called himself. And then of course too, and then he was repackaged in NXT as Bray Wyatt, as the Eater of Worlds. Then he got repackaged again as part, with Matt Hardy as part of the, what was the team name? The Deleter of Worlds or something like that. And now this. This is interesting because Bray Wyatt, the article's right. He's got a very innovative mind. He's about as innovative as it gets. But this Fiend character, honestly, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was working so well. It was working well, having won the Universal Championship twice, and having to have challenged John Cena to a match at WrestleMania. 2020 was his year. 2020 was actually the Fiend's year, shockingly enough. But in a way, it kind of was because he dropped the title to Goldberg at Super Showdown. I think it was back in February. Yeah, I want to say it was back in February, and I can't believe I'm about to say this. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I'm curious to see what the new gimmick is the new persona is gonna be. I am very curious. And they actually posted a photo on the article. In the article, they posted a photo of the Fiend being put on fire. Again, and again, this was from the first ever Firefly Inferno match, which again, the only way to win was to put a piece of your opponent on fire. It didn't matter what it was. Funny enough, and I mentioned this in my result video from last night, Randy Orton had pushed Bray Wyatt into the fire, and his jacket was lit on fire. So right there, Randy Orton had already won, but he did even more damage by pouring gasoline on top of Bray Wyatt and then just setting him on fire using a match. That's how sadistic Randy Orton is. I'm surprised that he wasn't changed by the Fiend. So given the fact that Bray Wyatt gets is wanting to be repackaged, if he does get repackaged again and he gets a new persona or something like that, that means potentially Braun Strowman will be coming back as a babyface. Alexa Bliss will be coming back, teaming up with Nikki Cross again. We could very may well see John Cena come back, which honestly is not possible. Seth Rollins could come back not as the Messiah, but as as Seth freaking Rollins, where he had the whole burn it down and all that. It is a very it's a very high possibility, but I'm really not holding. Honestly, I'm not holding my breath on this one, but it is what it is. But with that being said, WWE has announced a rematch between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. Shoutouts to Andrew Pollard for this article, but this time it is not TLC. It is actually a steel cage. Shoutouts to Andrew Pollard for this article. Hot off the heels of their brutal TLC match at last night's TLC pay-per-view, Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens are to do battle once more on this week's episode of SmackDown. WWE has announced that on the Christmas Day edition of SmackDown, we will see Kevin Owens challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal title in the confines of a steel cage, following the constant interference from Jey Uso during the TLC match. A steel cage offers up the perfect solution to keep other people out of Owens and the High Chief's business. Yeah, so stopping where I'm at now, we knew this was gonna happen. I predicted last night that we would see a rematch between the two. I think I mentioned it last night, but we are getting that rematch. This could very may will be Kevin's last shot, but we will see. This won't be the only title match featured on this week's outing for WWE's Blue Brand. For earlier today, saw Sami Zayn confirmed to be defending his Intercontinental title against Big E on Friday. Yeah, so I mentioned that. I mentioned that last night that he was gonna that Big E was gonna challenge Zayn for the IC title. Given how WWE is actually giving its wrestlers some time off over the holiday season, Friday SmackDown will actually be taped tomorrow ahead of airing on Christmas Day, with both the Universal title and the Intercontinental titles on the line. WWE is currently going hard to make sure that this week's SmackDown becomes a must-see part of wrestling fans' festive viewing habits. Okay, so let's talk about this for a second, because Big E, Sami Zayn, we know how this match is gonna this match is gonna happen. Sami Zayn is going to get himself counted out. He's gonna get himself counted out. He retains the title. He retains the title. We all know it's gonna happen. Sami Zayn believes nobody's worthy of being Intercontinental Champion, so it's probably gonna happen. Reigns, Owens. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say Jey Uso climbs the cage, goes in, helps Roman Reigns, and Roman retains the title. I think that's how it could happen, but we will find out. Honestly, these are going to be two incredible matches. I'm actually excited for it. I am actually super excited for this because truth be told, I'm actually not doing anything Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, so this will be perfect. But yes, you guys are gonna be getting videos on those days, so make sure you guys stay tuned. But this doesn't surprise me. If those things do come to pass, I won't be surprised. But if Owens and Big E both become champion, this would actually be Big E's first championship in what? I want to say 7 years? Yeah, I want to say like 7 years, and this would be Owens' first singles title, first Universal title, in what was it, like 4 years? Yeah, say about 4 years. So this will be very interesting to say the very least. But you know what? Question of the day: should Ricochet join Retribution? Let me know in the comments below. And that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. And if you guys are new to the channel and you guys love seeing these news videos for WWE and for Yu-Gi-Oh!, definitely hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All the links will be down in the description. And if you guys have any fan mail that you want to send me and want me to open up on the channel, because 2021 I will be doing fan mail. So if you guys have any fan mail that you want to send me and want me to open up on the channel, my address will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.